Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Commander Deck Tech on Sethron, the Hurlin General. With the announced gameplay with Standard, Pioneer, and everything going forward in paper, and with the Rise of Commander, we're going to be focusing a lot more of the content, me specifically on Commander, since also I started the Minotaur podcast, also posted on the GoblinTraders.net website, to find more information about that podcast with former Commander focused, especially right now during this time. This will also be posted on YouTube as well, which will have links to the podcast as well as to the Goblin Traders to find out more information. So with Jumpstart coming out and a lot of people not being able to get their hands on a lot of the product when they can here in the future when the Jumpstart comes more available to people, I'm hoping more people build Jumpstart Commanders. So this week we're going to start out with Sethron, the Hurlin General. So Sethron is 3 red when he enters or another non-token Minotaur enters the battlefield, graded 2/3 Minotaur. So far already probably one of the best Minotaur generals. You have a bunch of Nehebs and was it Tangrath? You got a couple Minotaur to choose from, but the red-black Neheb is probably the best before Sethron. But what really pushes Sethron is 2 red-black hybrid Minotaurs you control, get 1+0, Menace and Haste. And that's really where we want to go with this deck. This deck is a lot better than what most people think. We've been playing this on stream a lot if you want to go back through. The link for the list will be also there as well. And I just want to go through, because we can go through and see there's a lot of like basic Minotaurs, because we don't get a lot of choices. Glinthorn Buccaneer being one of the top ones, new ones. Neheb's still really good, but we played in the 99. We play this Howlbonder because it basically gives them super menace with Sethron, because that's what we need to do with our Minotaurs is choose our combats very carefully. And with this, giving menace, adding 3 instead of just the 2, really takes this deck to the next level. We do play cards like, Goblin Warcry, War Drums, that already give them menace, because that has been errated to just straight menace. So being able to just have other things other than just Sethron out really helps with that. So just going through Tard Mauler, still really good. Anger, we want to do... I know there's a lot of Commander decks and it takes them down in power level when it can't win without their Commander. So I want to be given stuff with Menace and Haste that aren't just Sethron. Fanatic Amogus, still really good. Graveshifter is a newer one that still giving that Gravedigger ability, but now being a changeling, you have it in all different creature types. Oracle of Bones. Now we just get it. So, like, these are like the top changeling / Minotaurs that I think are out there. If I've missed one, please let me know. I heard there's a Hurlin or from like almost Alpha Beta that I could play that's a vanilla. But a lot of like the vanillas I want to play are just like this, like very cheap, very early game, so we can play this with Sethron. So I suppose that we're playing Vandal Blast. We could also play Bioforce if we would like from Amonkhet. Terminate, Bed of Evil, Chaos Warp, Hero's Downfall, Wretched Confluence. A pretty good like removal package. There's probably some better, like we could play Ingirik's Wake. But if you can see, this curve is a little high for creatures, so we're very bottlenecked on mana. And we'll get to that in a minute. A lot of people, and I still don't know where this card even came from, but going through hunting. Deathbellow Warcry, 5 triple red sorcery. Search your library up for up to 4 Minotaurs with different names. Put them in the battlefield and shuffle your library. When we streamed, we just take the best ones that give them haste. There's one that gives them haste. There's ones that have haste. So we have the ones that get, Minotaurs you control have haste. So we just play the biggest ones we can, and with Deathbellow Warcry, even though it's being 8 mana, the reason why I think we can play cards like this and some higher tiers, I put Mana Crypt and Vault in here. I know a lot of people either don't have these or can't afford them at this time, and I absolutely get it. Mana Crypt getting reprinted once again in Doubles Masters. I think it's one of those things is I have other decks that I think Mana Crypt could go better in. Or it could just go in because it can slot in everything. But for this deck, we need mana. We're very, we're very hungry for mana, and being able to play Crypt or Mana Vault on turn 1 or 2, hopefully turn 1 with either of those, and have Sethron out on 2. Sethron on 2 is so much better than Sethron on turn 5. But we play other things that we could get it out. Throne of the Godfair is a flex slot. I think a lot of the creatures you got to play a lot. You could probably go down 2, maybe 3. But the flex slots are kind of here. We need the removal. So the Throne of the Godpharaoh, we're going to have a lot of creatures tapped, and since it deals... we're not. I like doing damage to all players, but I get that we're not going to have tokens out. So the maximum, probably average, we're going to be doing is 4 to 6, which is still not a lot. But in games where you play more cards like a Fiery Emancipation, Dictate the Twin Gods, that can add up very quickly. Herald's Horn, if you got Sethron in your Jumpstart pack, you got Herald's Horn. So being able just to, like I said, help out your mana, making things cost less, is exactly what we need during this time. Icon of Ancestry, pretty good, very mana hungry. We may switch this with another, like I'm sure there's other things. We could almost switch this with Door Destinies. That would be really good as well, but I think with lower end and also being able to fish for Minotaurs. Coat of Arms, auto include, also because we play 38 Minotaurs, and as well as Sethron's tokens. I usually have that with Sethron. If Sethron is on the battlefield, 5 Minotaurs, including a couple tokens. So good not to overextend. You can kind of hold back and being able to pump them up a lot. Same with Vanquisher's Banner. We're needing to draw cards to keep going. Phyrexian Reclamation. I think I could cut this card. I've been going through, now that I've been getting more reps with this deck, trying to really look at it. I think Phyrexian Reclamation is one of those things on paper. It looks very good, but I think being able to recur, like there's some really good ones like Ragemonger, Taran Mauler, even some of the bigger ones if we need to discard them like Warcaller. But hey, it's another with paying the 2 life. I would almost want to replace this with another damage doubler, but I'm very... I don't know if I like them too much. I know Fire Emancipation's almost won me every single game I've played when it's been... Every game I've played that I've won has usually been on the back of Fire Emancipation. But we'll get to that in a second. Braid of Fire. I think this is one a lot of these decks have overlooked, because I would really want to put in Vidalcan Orrery in here to really help out and be more of a combo with Braid of Fire. But if you see, like with Sethron, we want that activated ability so we could play our big Minotaurs and be able to give them haste. But I get it that we're activating the haste before, but I think just activating Sethron, because that's one of the biggest things that when playing this deck, is we're so bottlenecked we don't get to activate Sethron every turn, and being able to have Braid of Fire to activate that 1 or even 2 times is huge. And if we just go through, there's a few that have some activated abilities, discard a card. There's some, that we can just put, even if we have them into, it's not the best, but still does pretty good in a pinch. Braid of Fire is still very good in, it was in Mystery Boosters, so if you can get a hold of that. Cover of Darkness. For Fear, a lot of games because of this. Fear is not a lot of things people seen. We gotta get these Minotaurs through somehow. We gotta, with some type of evasion, get them through with either with War Drums, with Menace, Double Strike. We play also Rage Reflection with also that sweet, sweet new Minotaur art. And Doubles Masters, we'll be picking that up absolutely. So just something, we gotta take this horrible creature type and add good rocks. We gotta have the didgeridoo. We gotta have good rocks and everything, because look at these creatures. They don't add up to the other creature types. So having these things to bring up this creature type is really what we need. Mirror March has been almost atrocious. Haven't really got to... We've played almost a dozen games with this deck. Mirror March either doesn't matter, and we don't want to play it, or it's just awful, or we don't draw it. So that'd be another cut too. So there's some real cuts here that you can make. But I think also we're playing Minotaurs. I know this 301 price tag is a little up there for most, but half of that being in 2 cards, I think is a real saver sometimes, because also you don't need them. They just help out a lot. Like you can play Soul Ring, you can play Rakdos Signet and still have Sethron out earlier. But I think cutting those, like Mirror March, you can add more and more rocks here. We have an okay mana base. I need to add some different things in here. Giving First Strike. I think the black one gives Fear. I can even add the other Bluff if needed. I just wanted to try one, or the Thriving Land. Other than that, I think this is a pretty straightforward deck. I've had a lot of success with it on stream. If there's any Minotaur you think I should run, please let me know. I know there's not a lot of... We see these lists here. I think a lot out there for content creators. For content creators, there's not a lot of choices with Minotaur, so being able to see cards like Braids of Fire and different things. We see St. James. We know St. James, and I did not plan for this, but let's look at St. James's deck. If this is not the St. James we know, I'll probably cut this part out, but I highly think this is the St. James that we know. Have the great Minotaur package. I think I have Labyrinth Raptor in mind. I think I fit Labyrinth Raptor in mind. I think that's a very big call. Yeah, there's the Labyrinth Raptor. Being able to, if they have Menace, they have to be sacked. We got Adaptive Automaton. We're going to get... That's also the cards we could be running, like Lord of Shatterskull Pass, but not having access to those cards right now. Just buy... Like, I'm trying to build the decks like I have the cards in paper. We're going to get an Adaptive Automaton to add from Doubles Masters. Warcaller. I need the Mythic Neheb. The Tangrath would be pretty good. Like, you can add the Archetype. I think that's fine. People like adding this just because it's a Minotaur as well. Like, if... I know, plus it adds the mana, so it might be, Angrath might be the way to go. Dreadbore's pretty good. I like Rakdos Charm, maybe even the Return. Okay, Command. I need a Patriarch's Bidding. I think that would be very good in the deck. Didgeridoo, Arcane Signet. Yeah, like this is exactly what we talked about, that we can, like you see there's some flex slots here. I think Shared Animosity, if we had another one go in, Molten Reflection's great. I think like missing out on Fiery Emancipation here is big. I think going up on lands would probably be the way to go. But if this isn't the James that we know, we just looked at another deck, and I guess that's fine. That's no big deal. Thank you for everyone for watching this. If there's a card you think I missed that are on neither of these lists, please send it to me, either that by Twitter. I'll also link to our Mana Rock Podcast Discord. That is just a very open EDH discussion about daily things, and also you can submit our list. I love looking at wonky lists that taking a commander that's not supposed to be used in that way and just doing something super out of the box with it. So please let me know, and if there's any other Jumpstart commanders you would want to see, we have one kind of brewing. I want to see how it goes to see if I like this deck, the one I'm brewing, but right now I wasn't going to make the Sethron unless I really thought it could be good and could win. And I think Sethron has shown that in the streams that we've had. So until next time, I hope everyone has a good day.